Hey, what's going on? How is everyone tonight? You already know it's Keenan Hudson, the author of The Unspoken Truth and Life Story. Yes, we're here with a special treat today, and we wanted to say that we got Miss Saray here, an entrepreneur from Philadelphia. She's a boss of bosses out here. But long story short, she's here to share a lot of things about breaking the generational curses and why is it so important to make things happen out of nothing. Again, y'all can go to KeenanHudson.com. Remember to purchase my book. I got other things that's coming as well. So all of y'all just stay tuned. But here it is. Let me go ahead and let Miss Saray go ahead and introduce yourself and just tell
Thank
us some of
you.
the things you're going to be talking about tonight.
Thank you, Keenan. So
Mm-hmm.
I am the founder of Philly Nail Company here in South Philadelphia. And I am also the CEO of Boss House LLC, House of Bosses, which is a network of people that are bosses. And we come
Cool.
into the community and we give free game to people. And currently, we're actually putting on a show, well, an event actually, a Wealth Summit on 11/11 at City Winery called the Next Level Wealth Summit. So make sure that y'all be there.
Nice, nice, nice. So,
Yes.
Saray, so tell us in your own words, when we came up with that topic about making something out of nothing, a lot of times I know people, tend to work check to check. They go to work, and then they feel as though like they can't get by, by any means. So we're trying to break down why is it important to make something out of nothing? How do you do a business startup? Or how do you create that generational wealth? So if you can just expand, why did you take that step, and getting into that residual income, creating a generation wealth, creating businesses and retiring your family and things like that, so soon in life? Because a lot of people feel as though that is some real viable information to hear. So if you could go ahead and just share a little bit about that, please.
For sure. So for me, it started since I was a kid, right? I always said that I'm a rebel. I don't can't nobody tell me nothing. But with that, you don't really know which direction you're going in, so you mess up a lot of times. And then from that experience, I kind of related it to business because that's kind of what happens in business. For me, it was important to get started on this because of what I see in my own household. Our family is so small. There's literally just myself, my sister, my dad, and my mom, and all of our families all still in Asia. And as my parents are aging, I'm like, why are we still in the same position as we are 10 to 20 years ago? And it seems like we can never really catch up. And then that's when I heard about the rat race and all this stuff because I learned all of that later on. I don't really know what the race is. We don't have that in Cambodian. So seeing that, and then my dad's like inching to 60, and he still was unable to pay for his medication. And for me, I was 28 at this time. I remember it so vividly. This is 5 years ago in 2018. I was 28 and I was working at a salon, and I've been doing beauty for like 20 years now, almost 20 years now. And I couldn't pay for my dad's medication. And I was getting paid a hefty amount at the salon. Like they charge probably 3 to 4 times more than a typical salon. And I couldn't pay for my dad's medication because the job couldn't pay me. And then I was like, okay, there's no way that someone could tell me when I can eat, when to go to the bathroom, have me commute to and from work and not pay me. And then I decided, and I was an undergrad at this point, and then going through personal things in my life, and going through those personal things in my life really helped me push to persevere through it all. And I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna start this. I don't know what I'm doing with $0. I ain't had no money at that time,
Hold on, you
undergrad in
said
school, and I
zero.
figured
You said $0. You didn't have any money.
$0, no
Zero
money.
dollars before
I
you
had
started your first business.
Yes, $0. I had $62 to my name at that time,
Wow.
and I was moving back into my mom's house, and I was like, I gotta figure something out. And yeah, $0. I took that leap, and I figured out a strategy to do it, and then I built it into a brick and mortar today, where we at right now.
Wow. Wow. So I know so far as as I can recollect, right? When I came home, a lot of people know my testimony of when I came home from prison back in 2016. um I didn't know too much of life, so I had to work and understand what it was to pay taxes and things like that, understand what a W-2 was. So what happened was I was complacent with having a job because that's all we were taught growing up. We were taught, oh, go to school, get good grades, get a good job, and buy a house, which was the so-called American dream. But it wasn't until when I started branching out and started getting out into networking events, started getting out and started learning a little more life. And actually, thank God for YouTube as well, because they started sharing the experiences of how to break these generational curses. Because how many people we know, in our families, right? They'll probably get some lawsuit money or something like that, and then they turn around and blow it. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't have no experience with finances. They don't have no experience with investing in a future for your loved ones or your kids or any offspring that you may have raised. So it wasn't until when I started branching out and doing these things where I said, well, you know what? I have the gift of music. So I can go ahead and start, playing different places. I can wind up start teaching different kids music, because and then that was a gift that I developed while I was in prison. But however, there was other skills that I could do as well. Not just music, but then I wound up opening, a rental car service, then I wound up partnering in a transportation company. Then I wound up, so it's just a lot of different little avenues that I didn't know about, early on. Now, I never said there's a problem with, there's not a problem with working a job. It's okay to work a 9 to 5 if you're trying to get to a certain point.
Yep.
But at the same time, you got to know that saving your money, just trading your time for money is not going to make you wealthy. It's not going to get you to that point. So if you explain some of that for me though, like what do you know about exchanging your time for money? Why won't that get you too far if you're trying to level up in life?
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's wild because that's one of my favorite things to talk about actually, because I remember I'm from the hood, right? Hood to South Philly, grew up and down South Philly, up on Tasker. And one of the things that I noticed that my friends at that time would say is like, come on, man, my time is money. And they would assume that it's like, they would say it in a way where it's like, if you want my time, you got to pay me money in a sense. But now I view time as money very differently because time really is your currency. You can't get it back. And for example, when I was growing Boss House from $0 the last 2 years too, I couldn't do certain things. Like, for example, people were inviting me to all these events and things. And I'm like, that's about 4 hours. In 4 hours, what I could be doing is structuring this business in a way where I can have it run on auto, because that can take care of my family. And that's when it clicked to me that, wow, that 4 hours of investing it in the right way, in the right lane, compared to 4 hours going to an event that's not going to benefit me. I was like, wow, the way that I'm using my time, that literally is my moneymaker.
Wow.
And
wow.
that was one of the ways that I figured, well, I realized that time, is money. It literally is, like, it is.
It is money. Yeah, and that's go ahead. I want you to keep going if you want.
No, you go ahead.
So I noticed that too, like, sometimes people do want to network with people. They do want to, figure out different strategies, and generating other types of income, and sometimes people find it intimidating that sometimes they may not have something to bring to the table. So they kind of are a little resistant from stepping out on that leap of faith. You see what I'm saying? So, and it was at times like early on when I was driving my little 1999 Chevy Lumina, when sometimes I was a little hesitant to pull up because I see people was pulling up in Benzes and BMWs and all that. But I said, no, I got to step out on faith, despite what I have, because I'm a firm believer that if you're faithful over the little, you know what I'm saying, they'll make you rule over much, so. But that's what I did. I started learning different things, started leveling up, understanding, okay, well, I could do this with real estate. You know what I'm saying? I could do this with the music. Not only can I play it, but I could read it, write it, and I could teach it to other individuals. I was actually just speaking to an individual. A shout out to Brandy McQueen. Thank you for saying hi here. Brandy McQueen and dropping comments. And we spoke about, even turning it into a course. There's different ways and strategies in which you can use things that you're gifted at. Like how many people out here, like if you were to ask the comment right now, how many people know how to cook? A lot of single mothers, a lot of mothers in general, they will say yes. Well, how about if you say you're such a great cook, why not turn in your cooking into a cooking course? Explain it to the world why you believe, your stuff come out the way it does. You know what I'm saying? Because again, it's 7-8 billion people in this world. You're bound to connect and converse with somebody, that's willing to connect with you. So, in your own words, now I know that you have a summit. I know that you have a summit coming up.
Yes.
Called, Breaking Generation Curses, the Next Level Wealth Summit. Explain a little bit about that and what is the totality of that event that you're promoting?
Well, the Next Level Wealth Summit, one, I call it, it's not the standard wealth summit. I call it the hoodest wealth summit you're probably going to go to. But I only say that because, one, we're bringing together people that's from where we're from the hood that actually made it out. However, we have this thing in Philly where I hear that a lot of people sometimes gatekeep here. However, for me, from my experiences, I bump into people like that, but I don't see that. So I'm like, I bump into people that gives information all the time. So it's pretty much me bringing together people that are solopreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs that needs or wants a mentor or even someone to collab with and network with serious people that wants to help them. Because what I find in my entrepreneurship journey was that people wanted to help me, but it was very, 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 very transactional, and it's not even just money transactional. It's always something. Yeah. So this event is to connect those two people, those two groups of people together, and that was something that I wanted at that time, and also to help entrepreneurs today navigate and succeed and sustain their businesses during this recession that we're having. Because I am also meeting a lot of business owners who only have one revenue of income from their business, where in today's day and age, especially post-pandemic, you should be having multiple streams of income from your business. So it's just kind of navigating and showing them how to do that. And of course, you need a good network in order to accomplish that. And
that's true too. And you make a good point. And not just networking, but having some good mentors around you as well. And sometimes that can be hard to come by too, because you'll reach out to people. Some people take it serious, some people don't. Some people don't want to be bothered and things like that. Like you said, being in post-pandemic, and not only a lot of people look at the pandemic, especially with the COVID and stuff, as a big setback with things. But at the same time, a lot of people did benefit off of it if you looked at it in the right perspective. But nowadays, knowing the big bubble we're in now, which a lot of people can't see, we have to be prepared. You have a recession that we're actually in. The housing market, you look at the interest rates, you look at things that's going on, but people don't see that. When we speak of the movies that we spoke about the other day, Big Short and Margin Call. I'm talking about Big Short, Margin Call. I actually like Margin Call because I like how the boss, like things with the boss. But that's actually what's going on today. Margin Call, I'm telling everybody right now, you got to watch Margin Call, because Margin Call is what's going on in the world. Yes, it is controlled by certain figures. However, you don't have to be a victim. You don't have to stay asleep. You have to tune in. You have to become aware, you know what I mean, of what's going on around you. And again, like you said, even though a lot of us we come from poverty, we come from things that are pretty much common in the world. But one thing I did learn, like even if a person doesn't make $1 million, $1 billion, and things like that, if you have a roof over your head, clothes on your back, and shoes on your feet, you're doing pretty good because it's a big percentage of the world that doesn't have that. So at the same time, it's not even necessarily of how you're going to make the money, but it's how you're going to keep it and what you're going to do with it.
Exactly.
So you can't just make all this money. Oh, I just made 10,000 last week, and you just want to go buy everybody something from the store and this, that, and no. You got to understand how to let your money work for you. Investing in different things. And a lot of stuff, you have access to a lot of these things on social media. You have a lot of it, motivational reels. You have a lot of it on the YouTube. You have a lot of it different places. But it's very important that, again, to enlighten your family, enlighten yourself, to take that initiative to go to that next level. A lot of people say, well, how come it worked out for you that way? Well, what worked for you may not work for me. And what works for me may not work for you. So you can't compare yourself in the same boat as anybody else. You got to zone out and ask yourself, what do you want to do with your life?
Yep.
How do you want to speak? When I speak different places and things like that with the motivation or the workshops I teach and things like that, that's something that, a skill, of course, of the things I've been through. And that's something that I wanted to do. But again, I don't make that my only source. You can never make this one thing your only source, or you're going to begin to struggle all your life. And why is that? Why, if you make one source mainstream your income, you're going to find yourself living check to check? Why is that, Mr. Ray?
Why is Can you say that question again, just so I can?
Okay, why is it dangerous to just have one source of income?
Man, there's so much power in that. One, that controls what's going to happen to you if you only have one. It has so much power over you, because in America, money is the tool to get everything that you need in the society here. And if you just have just one stream of income, that determines your destiny for the day, even, don't know what to do with that paycheck, and you're using it as a transaction. That's not what money was created to do in America. But that's something that they didn't teach us, right? Financial literacy. But so that's why I think it's really dangerous. It controls everything, because if you lose that, if you have a job and that's that one, let's do a business. If you have a business and the business only have, if you're a hair salon and you only do make money off of just haircuts alone, what happens to your, what happens if all of a sudden there's a scissor shortage? What happens to your flow of income? What you're going to do next? There's no other way to cut hair but with scissors. So it has so much power to that, and it controls you at the end of the day.
Yeah. And that's definitely true. And again, like I tell people all the time when they do reach out and things like that, I say, sometimes once you develop or once you discover what you want to do, you got to look at it that it'll come to you in increments. No one starts a business and just blow up. Now, it's probably 1 in a million that will do that. However, when you take those little steps of learning, you build your knowledge, you start understanding, okay, how do I open up my LLC? Now, one thing I will say, you got to be very careful, because there's a lot of gurus out here that'll tell you certain things, but it's not really true. They say, oh yeah, open up 3 LLCs, go to these 3 banks, and they're going to give you $150,000. Take my advice. That does not work, especially if your credit is not in order. Even if your credit is in order, it takes a lot to get $150,000 from different banks. And even if they were to give it to you, do you have a business plan to execute that $150,000 that you're going to have to pay back? You understand what I'm saying? Do you have I just got $150,000? Oh my God. Like, no, you're getting it because you're ready to start a business. not just
Mhm.
get an LLC just to get one. Don't just tell people, oh, yeah, I got an LLC. Yeah, I got a business, S corp. Yeah, so yeah, now I could do this. Well, don't just try to look pretty with it. You got to have some things to do with it. You know what I mean? So we got some questions here in the chat. We got Brandon. She said, "What are some of the topics on wealth will she be discussing at the Wealth Summit?" So yeah, so give them a little more um about the Wealth Summit, Saray, and tell them how there's going to be like different workshops, different people, different. And I know you're going to drop the flyer. Once you send me the flyer, I know you'll drop. I'll drop it in the chat so people can see where it's at. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So so the Wealth Summit will start off with a women's business brunch where about 40 women are going to come together, and a lot of them are people that are breaking through the cycle of working a 9 to 5 and want to become an entrepreneur. They're going to have a seat at the brunch table with the ladies who are entrepreneurs and for like 15 years plus, coming back to give gems with them. And then the event is going to start with a segment called Breaking the Poverty Mindset. I think that's the one is that where met you at, right? You went to that one, right, Keenan? The Breaking
Yeah,
the Poverty.
Breaking the Poverty. Yeah. I mentioned it. Yeah.
So that conversation stuck out to me so much that I was like, everybody got to hear it. So I asked Ricky of No More Foundation and Akia. They'll be moderating that conversation with Dr. Sheena and Maurice Rush. And we'll be talking about the stigmas of the poverty mindset and what it looks like in our society and community, especially in Black and Brown communities. Because a lot of times as they said at the first event, they were saying that we don't realize that we do things that are poverty mindset, such as gatekeeping. So we're going to have that conversation first so that we can break the poverty mindset, because there's no point in teaching financial literacy if you still think poorly. And then we're going to have Kendra Hall. She's going to be talking about the book writing journey, in your business journey, the book writing, what book writing can do to your business journey. She just actually got endorsed by Master P and Snoop Dogg, so we thought it would be a great idea for her to come and share how she started her book journey and how she can help entrepreneurs with their book journey. And then we're going to be having Ricky speak about nonprofits and how to get funding for nonprofits and how to operate one to be successful. We have Linda coming in to talk about managing personal and business finances, because a lot of times new business owners, they combine their funds, and that's not, you already know that's not good.
That's not good.
Yeah, at all. So Linda's actually Linda, William, and Elijah is going to be kind of like a small segment with them. So Linda's going to teach us how to save $100 when you managing your finances, and then she's going to throw it off to William, who's going to be talking about the stock market and what you can do with that 100 to grow it without having to do pretty much anything, because everyone has this idea that the stock market is all about buy and hold, or et cetera, et cetera. So he's going to be breaking down literally step by step on what you can do with that. And then Elijah's going to come in talking about financial strategies where you can manage certain index strategies, mortgages, and things like that, so that you'll be able to get to invest your money without having to add more to it. And then we close out with sustainability in entrepreneurship with Tiffany Ford, Alex Hillman of Indie Hall, and Robbie Long of Live 24 Hours. And then it'll be the networking mixer upstairs, where we're going to have a live Q&A with Brittany Miller from Atlanta. She's a celebrity PR and also PR consultant, and she has like a women's magazine and everything. And then we also have Hector of Water Ice, who will be on stage and taking and answering people's questions live, with hors d'oeuvres.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that's the whole event. The event will actually be held at City Winery in Philadelphia, where the old gallery used to be.
Cool. So we got a question on the screen there. Can you see it?
Yes. Will this event be virtual?
They said we'll be virtual.
Unfortunately, it will not be virtual. We're still talking it out because we do want to go live, but we do have All Black Everything Network. They'll be there doing it live with small businesses that's vending there that day.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Okay, so in that next levels wealth summit, how can people look more into this event? Do you have a link? Where should the people find you? I want you to give us all the resources and how to connect.
Awesome, awesome. You can either Google or Eventbrite the Next Level Wealth Summit, and we'll pop right up. Um, I am really big on Instagram. I love using Instagram for this. So then we're at the Next Level Wealth Summit at Next Level Wealth Summit. And you can also follow me on Instagram at Saray Guntia, which is at SareyKunthea.
Yes, indeed, y'all. Y'all follow her on Instagram. Yes, indeed. Um, yeah, so like I said, Pete, let me see if there's any more questions. Now she said how much. Should we answer that live or should they go to the website to check
I
it
would
out?
recommend you going to the web to the website just because it is a really great deal right now. But I wanted to. It's an event where we the people are putting it for the people, so we wanted to make it super affordable for everyone. So there are some awesome early bird discounts on there right now.
That's cool. That's cool. And I know, and for a lot of people that may say, well, how come they always got to charge money for stuff? How come they got this, that? And we understand that, sometimes, things are not affordable for people, especially these big mastermind classes and things like that they try to charge $1,000 for, which is okay. I understand if that's the arena. You got to remember, see, people, this is why I want a lot of people to understand there's different levels to wealth.
Yep.
So there may be an arena where some people may be in the ballpark from $100 to probably 500. But then you got a ballpark of people that can play in the range of $5,000 to $10,000. But then you got an arena that's higher than that, where they spending probably 100,000 to 500,000 for certain speakers to just come in and speak. So
Every time.
there's different ranges, different levels. So you can't say, oh, they don't need to be charging money. Yeah, but that's somebody's business, that's somebody's time, that's somebody's willing effort to put this thing together. So there's different levels of, and like I said, once I started seeing and understanding it, I couldn't really look at it the same as if, oh, dang, well, I don't want to do this. Well, maybe you should tell yourself instead of saying, I can't afford that, what you need to say is, how can I afford it?
Yep.
How can I get to it one day? You got to start speaking over your life. Start speaking positive things. Start speaking, generational wealth. Stop speaking curses
Yep.
over you, your family, your kids, and things like that. No,
Yep.
start speaking. Look, I'm going to get somewhere.
We are abundant.
Exactly. Like as long as you keep that mindset, and that's the next thing I want to speak about, Saray, is how important that mindset is. The mindset and the people you're around all the time. If those people that are around you are not building you up, you need to cut them off.
Audit your
People,
circle.
it's the circle, the people that you're networking, people you're talking
You said
to.
something really good the other day. You said not everyone in your circle is in your corner.
Yeah, that's powerful. It's powerful. Like, you look at it like when you on in that circle or circle of friends you say you have, and all they want to do is smoke all day or act foolish and things like that. That don't mean that they got your back when you ready to go through the trenches to get somewhere. When you ready to level up, you ready to take your family and move them out of the hood or move them out of their current situation that's going to be better for them. If you got people that's talking down on you, no, you shouldn't do that. It ain't going to work. And this, that, and the third. You do not need to be around them. That's the mentality. Remember, you got to remember, bad company corrupts good morals. So the more you're around certain people, the more you're going to become like them. Like they said, if you hang around 3 plumbers, you'll be the 4th. If you hang around 3 millionaires, you'll be the 4th. If you hang around, for people that's wealthy, you'll be the 5th. So it's all who you surround yourself with. But tell them how important that mindset and to zone out is.
Man, that mindset is everything. That's actually why I started Boss House 2 years ago. It was because a Rough Riders documentary popped up on my screen. This was me tapping into God. Like this was around the time that I started tapping into God and reading the Bible, etc. But pray to God. next thing you know, Rough Riders documentary pop up, DMX pop up, and this was he was still alive at this time, and I was like,
Mm.
something's going to happen if he dies because because I was watching how he was acting out on Iyanla and all this good stuff, and I was like, wow, he's such an
Mhm.
icon. His legacy, is it going to stick around? And long story short, I was like, if he keeps up drinking and doing all these behaviors and keeping those people that he's around, his legacy is going to be gone. Like it ain't no point.
Wow.
All the work that he did ain't nothing. And then 2 days later, he's in the hospital. That was when he
Mm.
state of state, et cetera. And I was like, this is God's sign for me to actually speak up about this and
Yeah.
say something, because in my family and household, my parents were refugees, so they dealt with PTSD, and um they found their own way to deal with it, and which was very unhealthy. And
Mhm.
what stuck out to me was that my dad, at one point, he was able to get a huge like refund in his money or whatever, but he spent it all on like alcohol, and I was
Mm.
like, okay, he's still sick somewhere. So um his mindset still saw him as poor and as lackluster, even though he just got this big old cash in his bank account. And next thing you know,
Mhm.
the money was gone.
Wow.
Gone. And
Just,
we're still apartment hopping, we're still living in poverty, we're still eating mayo sandwiches. So it was like, it didn't matter how much money fell into your lap. If you ain't healing this, it ain't gonna go nowhere.
mm. So, what are some of the ways that you can heal this? The psyche, the mindset, the
Oh
zone
my
out. How?
gosh.
Just give a
The
couple
therapist.
examples. What are some
Therapy.
examples? Therapy. So the therapy, and what I find very useful when it comes to mindset is, okay, what's that saying that if you want to hide something from certain people, you put it in a book? So
Mhm,
a lot
mhm.
of times when you really look at it, a lot of people don't read books anymore. Everybody want
No,
everything,
they
the video, they want YouTube, they want, but a lot of educational things are still in those textbooks. They're in a lot
yes.
of books that'll settle your mind. It'll tell you, people experiences on how to reform your mind, how to
Yep.
think and how to leverage. Like even couple little books, Napoleon Hill, the Think and Grow Rich. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's just certain books that that will really enrich you,
Yeah.
especially from a knowledge standpoint.
Mhm.
Like when you look at some of the wealthiest people in the world, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and all them, even Warren Buffett, these people
Yep.
still read books. They even read books that still was printed back in the 60s.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because
That's
they knew
fun.
that the knowledge of building,
Mhm.
and how much power is in knowledge, because knowledge is power. And
Yep.
that's what everybody want. Oh, I want power. I want this. You got to have the knowledge first. You
Mhm.
got to know how to
Mhm.
play chess, not checkers.
Mhm. Mhm. Exactly. I do a lot of reading too. That's definitely part of my mental
Mhm.
my daily mental self-care. I spend like 4 hours a day just mental self-care.
Mental self care, and that's
Mhm.
good. Like you said, probably even a getaway. A
Mhm.
getaway. From distractions. A getaway, just talking, having a conversation with yourself. It's okay to talk with yourself. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? It's okay to say, hey, man, maybe I should probably do this or pivot this way, pivot that way, do less of things that's not benefiting you in life.
Mhm.
Because it's a lot of people that I know, they regret, right? Wasting a lot of their 20s and a lot of their 30s, and not even that, but even some of their 40s too, until they realize, dang, I really messed a lot of my life up. You know what I'm saying? I really left a lot of my life up. They have no safety net, for retirement. They have no safety net. So you see a lot of people that's 50, almost 60
Mhm.
years old, still having to get up and go to work. But they're like, damn, my bones is killing me. Like, I can't really, but that came from the lack of knowledge from the beginning. You
Yep.
know what I mean? So
Yep.
it's just some things where you look at it like, wow, a lot of people do fall in that rat race. So, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah, so
And
everybody's on here. Like I said, I know it's comments. I know usually they jump in here. Um, but yeah, you got anything, or any challenges you want to give to people out there in the world that can hear something of everything? Correct. Anything
definitely
you encourage them on, or
definitely encourage people to one, yes, definitely keep reading because I think I
Mhm.
mentioned to you before that I just learned how to read just 5 years ago, um,
Wow.
and because of that, that is the reason why I am where I am today. My success I owe it all to reading, because had I could be reading something, and if I don't understand or comprehend it, how can I implement it correctly, right? So
Mm,
that was a major key. Read everything thing because you can't become. I always tell my clients too that you can't expect to scan over this email, because what if it included 6 digits in there, and
mm,
then you're owed 7 digits. That's going to mess you up if you're not paying attention to those minor details. But definitely, yeah, keep going and definitely make something out of nothing because in today's age, you can create so many avenues of streams of income, even in your sleep, and it literally takes like a matter of days to set it up, you know. So
absolutely.
yeah, definitely keep going and
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
learn digital marketing.
Digital marketing,
Digital
very
marketing
important.
is Google it, take a free class on Google if you have to, and YouTube it, but learn it for sure.
Digital marketing. So digital marketing. If you want to expound on that, that's cool too. Um, but also if you want to wrap up, because I know we're past the 30-minute point. I mean, usually we be on here for hours because it'd be so good,
I know.
but it's totally up to you. Um, but yeah, but digital marketing is very important. A lot of things, and notice that a lot of things are you have to be tech savvy now. You got this
Yes.
AI, AI is going on. A lot of people are
Yep.
using AI to their benefits. And you'd be surprised at how many people they still don't understand what artificial intelligence are. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's very important too, so yeah. So if you could give some like some key pointers and for people to keep going in life or to strive for their goals, what would be some like a couple key pointers just to elaborate on?
I would say a key pointer would be to get in tune with yourself. Definitely know how you want to spend your next breath. I definitely incorporate mindfulness into my daily, because the last thing you want is to waste your time, which is your currency. Um, but I forgot where I was going with that. But yeah, definitely. Mhm. Definitely take care of yourself first because if you're not there to enjoy your success, then what's really the point of doing it all?
Mm. And that's true
Eat right.
too. And it's true because, and then you got to remember too, a lot of people forget that, it's sad to say, but nobody's coming to save you.
No.
Nobody's coming to save you. So if you don't start working on you now and start planning for the future and start planning for certain things, it's not going to work out. Things are just going to be all over the place. So I
Yep.
encourage you all to definitely work on yourself, be prepared, reach out again. You have Miss Saray here. Miss Saray, you can tell them how to contact you once again. Inform them how to do that.
Yes, on Instagram you can follow me at Saray Kuntia, which is SareyKunthea, or at Next Level Wealth Summit, and I'll see
Cool,
you there.
cool. See you there. So all right, y'all. So we coming to an end now. We appreciate everybody that tuned in. I know that usually a lot of people pop on. Yes, sorry for not giving y'all the heads up. I know I'm gonna hear a lot of it tomorrow. You didn't tell you was going live and stand third. Yes, I totally understand, but next time I will. It was a spare of the moment type thing, you know what I mean? Especially when great ideas are being thrown around. So again, what I would try to do is I'm probably try to go live next week. So I'm giving y'all a heads up now. So again, it's Keenan Hudson. Remember, Unspoken Truth Life Story. Get that book. Powerful, very powerful. Y'all already know what it is. I'll be letting y'all know of any updates of any type of events that's coming up for me as well. So, okay, everybody have a good night. So, Ray, thank you for having you. And we appreciate everything.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Have a good night, everyone.